Attention, please.
And now, it's Cutter's Rockcast.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. Just kind of
Good.
moving stuff around. Sorry.
You're all good.
What kind of tea?
Throat coat.
Aha. The famous throat coat.
Yep. It's magic.
Yeah, I've lived off of that stuff. I once had to MC what was it? It was like I don't know, some sort of hot girl contest.
Oh, cool.
And I know, right? But I'm emceeing this thing, and I had no voice because I had a cold, laryngitis. And it was throat coat and honey for, I swear to God, 10 hours straight.
Yeah. It's fucking.
I can't even imagine what you got to go through.
Oh yeah. I mean, on tour, I have an entire those giant, picnic size, camping style lunch boxes.
Yeah.
This is actually pretty funny. I discovered this guy a couple years ago. It was so random. I needed to go to FedEx and just to ship something. And so we just moved to this area and I was like, oh, I found this FedEx. It's just little hole in the wall type of FedEx.
Sure.
Went inside and went to the back. And it was like I walked into Singer's Disneyland, because in the back of FedEx, he had every vocal spray, every lozenge, every tea, every gargle. It was unbelievable. And I look at the guy and I was like, he's like, yeah, I also carry all of the vocal secrets in the world here. We're a FedEx and I can help you with your voice. And I was like, you're
Weird.
My favorite human. Yeah. So I go there before tour and just fucking clean the guy out and just load up this giant vocal bag, and it's got a lot of throat coat in it. Yeah, there you are. That's my story.
My singer always would take a shot of Tabasco sauce before he went on stage. And I don't know, for whatever reason it worked for her. I don't know if it was because it was clearing up the, you know what I mean? The nasal.
Yeah, is she trying to clear out her nasal passage?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I never really asked her. I was just like, okay, this is what we're doing.
She should try ginger, because that also clears, but it also won't set your throat on fire and give you crazy acid reflux.
Whatever. Anyway,
anyways.
Lilith Czar, first of all, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Cutter.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Obviously, you're sort of new to the mainstream rock world, and really your first song kind of hitting the charts and all of that. But you've been around for a while. Kind of, I guess, start at the very beginning. You know, give me the origin story, so to speak, of Lilith.
Wait, which one of Lilith? Okay, well,
you know what? Actually, yeah, because that's a good point. Because you were going under. I don't know, was it your real name or a different name anyway?
Yeah, I was going on my real name. Yeah, and then before that, I had a band. You know, the whole origin of Lilith really was my life. You know, I think any superhero has a story to tell. Previous, no, just kidding. I wish. But yeah, I mean, I think that Lilith, the whole concept of this new persona and artist and record and all of that, and even the songs and the lyrics themselves would never have come to fruition if I hadn't had the road that I had and lived the life that I had lived. It was kind of like a discovering this new artist in me was a product of desperation and need and strength, the wanting to find strength and power and all of that, and needing it not just for myself, but so I could potentially help others, help other women, help other music fans, and people coming up in the scene, or just people who need something to hold on to feel sane, or they can get through whatever it is that they're going through. And that's kind of where I found this this whole concept. Last year it hit me. I had, just like everybody else in the world, just a ridiculous amount of time to sit and ponder and think about yourself and your life. 2020 was definitely an awakening type of year, and I had realized over the course of the last 2.5 years that I had been writing Created from Filth and Dust, how much I had changed as a person, as an artist, my opinions, my viewpoint, everything. And I just wanted to package that into, this new direction.
It's amazing what happens when you're sort of forced to sit down and deal with yourself. You know what I mean? I don't know if I think that's the right way to say it, because I had to do the same thing. And I think a lot of us had to. When you're constantly moving, and you started out, the same way we all do. And any musician starts out, right? I mean, you're in a band, hoping to make it work somehow, some way. So go back to that, and then into deciding to go solo, first of all, because before we get to the Lilith Czar part.
So, I had this band, Automatic Love Letter, which kind of, came up in the emo Warped Tour scene.
Sure.
And that was,
how long were your bangs to one side?
Oh my God, the most emo side swoop of all time. Every photo just from the sky directly down on top of your head.
Course.
Oh yeah, MySpace all the way forever. Yeah, I had, I started playing music and singing and learning guitar and piano and all of that growing up in Florida, in this small little town. And back then, there wasn't a lot of female fronted bands. Women weren't really, especially in my town, girl musicians weren't really taken seriously. It was all bands were comprised of just genitals, just male genitals.
Well, especially after the skinny jeans took over. I mean,
oh God, yeah. I mean, it's just, there's the package. I can see what it is shaped like. So yeah, it was really hard for me to get to get a band together. There were no female musicians, and all of the boys in my area were like, no. And so I was like, fine, I'm gonna go to fucking LA and I'm gonna get a record deal, and then you're gonna want to fucking be in my band. So that's what I did. I drove with my mom from Florida to California when I was like 16 years old. We stopped at like all of these coffee shops along the way, and just me and my guitar, I was playing a little gigs from Florida to California. I got to California, long story short, landed myself a record deal with this indie label. And that kind of went south pretty fast. That's a fucking shit show of a long story, but I did get an EP out of it, which is what landed me my deal with Epic Records. And once I was with Epic, we decided to put a band together. And so I went back to my little town in Florida and put a band together of eager boys, ready and waiting to go on tour and do this thing.
Right.
So I spent years with this band touring and Warped Tour and vans and cars and floors and sleeping at fans' houses, the whole fucking deal. And I did that for many years. And you get it. It's like you get to a point where you're like, what else do I need to like give you my blood? Like, what does the world want from me? What do you need?
Oh, you just figured out how I ended up in radio. Cool.
Hey man, well, if this doesn't work out, you need a co-host?
Probably. Anyway.
So anyways, let's hope it doesn't come to that for me, please. So yeah, I'm knocking shit over. Hang on, sorry.
That's okay.
I'm such a klutz. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, so basically years went by of grinding and trying to move the needle, and I got approached by The Voice. And they were like, oh, you don't have to audition. We already want you on the show. At that time it was season 2 that show hadn't really taken off yet. And I was pretty much the only one on season 2 that like already had a following, already had experience, had been touring, and then did the show, came out as runner-up.
What was that experience like? I mean, especially as a rock singer, going on a show like that. You've got, I don't even know who the judges were at that point, but still.
Well, it was, I mean, like CeeLo Green, Christina Aguilera, Blake, right? Yeah, Blake.
Yeah, that guy.
Whatever his last name is. Sorry, Blake.
Mr. Gwen Stefani.
Yeah, exactly. And then fuck. Maroon 5.
Oh, yeah. He was there from the beginning too, huh? Okay.
Wow. Why? I've completely drawn a blank. Anyways, wow, that's really bad.
So you can see I'm in a basement, right?
Yeah.
So I built this little studio for myself a few years ago, and really kind of got it set up during COVID because I had to broadcast from here. Right. So that was the water turning on as my 12-year-old daughter gets in the shower. So.
Oh, well, if it makes
the water pipes are behind me.
Oh, well, if it makes you feel any better, I didn't hear anything, so you just told me that story for no reason.
Oh, I thought that's what you were like about.
Oh no, I'm making that face because I forgot the name of a huge A-list superstar that I was.
That was okay. So that's timing. That was all about timing. Because it was right as the water turned on. I'm like, boy, that was loud. I sure hope nobody heard that.
Oh no, that's so funny. No, you're good, man. No. Anyways, the show was, as a rock singer, it was like fucking boot camp. I'm not trained. I taught myself how to sing. I taught myself how to play. I taught myself how to perform on stage. Everything is, my teachers are fucking, Janis Joplin and David Bowie and Dave Grohl and like, all of these artists that I listened to growing up. And I'm going on to a show where the only edge I have is the fact that I've been doing this for a while. And everybody else is like a fucking classical trained, like Juilliard student, like everybody. It was like intimidating, but at the same time, I was like, I've been doing this for, I don't know. It was boot camp for my voice. It definitely gave me a new understanding of finding your own sound and finding your what sets your voice apart, and being able to talk all fucking day long and then sing at night. Like it was, sometimes they had me doing rehearsals at like 2:00 in the morning. It was brutal. Yeah. So that was great. But yeah, it just feels like, it was, God, I mean, that time in my life just feels like it was a completely different lifetime.
Yeah. Well, there was a big, like we talked about at the beginning, there was a big block in the middle there where you had to stop. I mean, it feels like a lifetime ago, even for myself, and I'm still sitting in the same spot. So yeah, I can't even imagine for an actual, touring musician. Okay. So you get done with The Voice, and then what? I mean, then kind of what's your plan after that?
Well, I got signed to Universal after the Voice, and I had CeeLo Green was managing me for a minute, and
oh wow, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, and it sucked. I came off of a show where I excelled as a classic rock singer. I did all classic rock songs. I did the Beatles, I did Aerosmith, I did James Brown, I did all of these, cool classic rock Motown style songs, and the record label wanted me to do pop.
Of course.
What?
A girl who can sing. That's where you put them.
Yeah, exactly. To quote my A&R, your voice is already raspy. We can't put live drums or live guitars behind you. Girls don't make it in rock music.
That person didn't know what the future was about to behold, huh?
No. And it's just his perspective, because you only live in the pop scene. Right. You only agree with and believe things that are put in front of your face at all times. Like if you're not, it's uneducated. It's just a stupid thing to say, and it's completely untrue. Anyways, that relationship ended after about 2 years of just battling with the label. You know, I was wanting to make a rock record. They were wanting me to make a pop record. It was like me traveling around and writing with tons of people and the whole circus of, you know, the writing circuit and all of that, and me turning in rock songs and the label going, ew, no. And finally, you know, the kind of product of that was a single called Wild Child. And after that came out, I was just like, this is not what I want to do. I'm completely unhappy. I was super fucking depressed. I felt like I had betrayed my integrity as an artist, and I felt like I was throwing away all of the years of authenticity that, you know, that I felt I had as a rock artist, and, you know, starting in a fucking basement in a garage and touring and the whole thing. It just felt like I was tossing it away, giving into the kind of idea of selling your soul to make it, you know. Yeah, and so I just, you know, I parted ways with CeeLo and Universal, and was independent for a while. I did some crowdfunded EPs and music and stuff like that, and continue to push on and continue to fight on. And when was it? It was like I think it was around 2017, 2018. Ash Albertson, our fearless leader over at
architect of Sumerian Records.
Yes. He and I had a conversation. He found out that I was unsigned, and he was like, cool, let's go get lunch. And I was like, all right. And so we sat down, we had lunch, and he basically right then and there was like, let's do it. Let's do this. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm finally on a rock label. Holy shit, after all these years. And so yeah, we just dove into it. I had been my producer, Scott Stevens, I had known him for many, many years, and he instantly popped into my mind when, you know, Ash was like, you know, we should, like, let's think about collaborations, like, who do you want to work with? And so went over to Scott's place about 25 minutes from here. And I remember sitting there talking with Scott, and he was like, you know, the thing that you've been missing in your career is this whole fucking time is a producer who's willing and patient enough to help you hatch your own originality, your own voice, your own, you know, sound, that whole thing. And I was like, you're right. Every producer I've ever worked with has very much controlled the situation, very much tried to control my voice, how I sang, how the music sang, how the music sounded. It was all very, very controlling. And Scott was one of the first people I worked with that was like, I'm going to take the fucking time to really dive into who this artist is and bring out the best in them. And so, yeah, he's like family. Love him to death. Anyways, he was, yeah, he's the one who helped me create this, you know, whole record. He goes, go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, I was just gonna say, okay. So now you're at that point, right? You're signed to the rock label, and a rock label that's, I mean, for all accounts, doing very well and has a lot of great artists on the label. And you're doing this record. Okay, so now you talked about Lilith Czar before and how this persona kind of came out of COVID and having to sort of create this almost character. Was that something that you were already thinking about, or was it just pure happenstance because you were kind of shut down?
It was something that I had already been thinking about for years. Back in 2015, actually, I had brought up to my manager, I was just like, I don't want to go by Juliet Simms anymore. I've always been in bands, or, I just felt like this artist, though I love the things that I've done, and I don't regret anything in my past, because it's gotten me to where I am today.
Right.
But I just felt like there was a lot of baggage connected to Juliet Simms as an artist, and I didn't want to be associated with The Voice and things that I had done and gone through as that person. I felt entirely like I had shed my skin, so to speak, of this of the past. And I did not take the plunge, though. 2015, 2016, I was just kind of like, it was something I was toying with. And through the writing process of Created from Filth and Dust, like I said before, that was kind of when it wasn't until last year that I had realized I was changing.
Right.
During like the songs I was writing, and everything about me felt like it had, washed away.
Well, this is a very strange metaphor, probably, but you were cocooned. I mean, we all
exactly
were.
It was like
you were
chrysalis.
cocooned, and when the cocoon opens up, you're something different. And that's just nature. So
totally. And absolutely, people fucking change every day. People become, they can become worse versions of themselves, or they can become, the best versions of themselves. And, I chose the latter.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well,
I'm glad you're not a piece of shit. Great.
Yeah, you don't know that yet. Just kidding. I hope I'm just kidding. I imagine people that are pieces of shit don't realize they're pieces of shit half the time.
People that are pieces of shit have no idea that they're
exactly
pieces of shit.
Exactly. Yeah. So okay, well, the music, so let's talk about that then, because this listening to even the few songs that are on YouTube and a couple of the videos you have out, and watching that, the imagery, all of it, there's all these dark undertones, no question. And the imagery is very dark. The imagery is very almost like a dark goddess sort of look to it. Was that, I guess, how did you get me to that point? Get me to the point of the sound that you're doing, because it's not the same. You're a rock singer, obviously, but it's definitely not like anything that's really else is out there.
Well, first of all, thank you for saying that. That's incredibly kind.
Is this so you're working with Scott Stevens, you're writing,
right,
you're doing all this, he's letting your true voice come out. So the sound of this, is that something that kind of came out of that, of let's try this, let's try that?
Oh yeah, there was an extreme amount of experimenting in the studio. Take even King, take my song King, that vocal, oh my God, we sang that vocal over 10 times. And when I say 10 times, I mean
like you recorded it 10 times, but
no. Yeah. Like, come in and we're going to sing King. And I come in and I sing for 6 or 7 hours of that song. And then a couple weeks later, us going, nope, it's not it. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. That song took us over a year to complete.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, we scrutinized over not every note, not every fucking song was like that. Like Edge of 17, I sang twice. That was it, from start to finish, and then we picked our favorite one. But songs like King and songs like Anarchy, oh my God, fucking Anarchy, singing that song was like, it was hard. When you're writing a song, you're taking nothing and making it something. You know what I mean? So you have endless avenues you could go down. You could sing it really whispery, you could sing it very gravelly, you could sing it, you know, evil, you could sing it very, you know, choppy. There's just an endless array of ways that you can take a song, because you're making something from nothing. And it was, you know, the chemistry between me and Scott, and our affinity for the same kind of music, and you know, being like in the studio most of the time, I was just looking at the back of his head, but we were able to communicate on like this like different plane, where like I would sing something and we would both know if that was like, we would both, oh my God, that's like, we would both know at the same time, like if that was the right way to go with it. And you know, with the sound and with the guitars, and with the, you know, certain songs like Feed My Chaos or Unholy, and having screams and like you know, dropped, you know, guitars and shit like that on certain parts. It was just like, you would be listening to the song and we go, this right here, this needs something, this needs something dark, this needs something scary, we right here in this, we need like something Nine Inch Nailsy, like it would be really cool to make this song sound like Closer. You know, we would put together for like 2.5 years while we were writing and recording this thing, we would put together just endless playlists of like, you know, I would be like, okay, this song, here's 16 songs, you know, that I'm hearing like this synth, but then I'm hearing like the drums sound like this. It was like very, you know, there's
you're digging all over the place for inspiration, and there's no rules to it.
There's no rules. It's very convoluted.
Funny you said like Nine Inch Nails, and I just want to say this really quick, because in like earlier I was watching the video for King, you know, just I always like to obviously listen to the person's music I'm about to talk to. And I put it on in the background while I'm doing other stuff. And I noticed, and I've listened to it before, but I noticed that particular time, this time, because I was listening to it closer, is that bass line, that kind of dark driving synth almost sounding bass line, reminded me so much of like Fragile era Nine Inch Nails.
Oh, that's awesome. That makes me so happy.
Well, good. At least I was hearing it right. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, Trent Reznor is just a fucking genius. Nine Inch Nails came up a lot in the studio. So that makes me so happy that you picked that up. Yeah, actually it's really funny, not to give too much away, but we're getting ready to shoot a video for a song. And again, one of the inspirations in my like, you know, inspo mood board for this music video is one of Nine Inch Nails' music videos. So okay. Yeah. I don't know. I'm drawn to the darkness of what he creates, you know. It's just like,
there's your line right there. I'm drawn to the darkness. The world seems to be drawing towards Lilith Czar right now, which is pretty amazing. And congratulations on the work. But let's talk about touring and the live aspect. One of my most recent guests was Amy Lee from Evanescence. You're obviously going out on the road with them, opening up for Evanescence and Halestorm, which is going to be an incredible tour. And she was all stoked about the girl power aspect of this tour, plus on a lot of dates as well. What's it like for you? Because I mean, you're talking about Nine Inch Nails being inspiration. I have to imagine then you're in that world with Amy Lee. I mean, for any scene kid, for any person who would get into music, even me as a guitar player, listening to, you know, going back to then Ben's riffs and figuring it out, I can't imagine. I imagine it's a huge honor and influence.
Oh, are you kidding me? To be completely candid, when my managers first came to me with the potential opportunity of touring with Halestorm and Evanescence, I was like, yeah, right. That's not gonna happen. Like, I was so sardonic. I was like, okay, like we'll see. And then it happened. Right. Well, actually, but what happened beforehand was I heard a clip of Amy Lee, the goddess herself, introducing King on Sirius XM. And she talked about what the song meant to her and what it made her feel. I mean, I cried. Like, what do? You go, oh my God, I've been watching this woman's career and listening to her music, and like her being such a fucking like female empowered like force behind like so many all women in rock music. And it was just like, my song makes you feel like that? Like, what? Like, I could not fucking believe it. And yeah, so then when one of my managers called me and they were like, guess what? I just like sat there and stared at a wall for like 10 minutes. I was like, I mean, even right now, even talking about it, I'm like, this is crazy. I'm very excited. I have to say that it's so refreshing, you know. There's like, I don't know if it's like this anymore, really, because I'm very much, you know, deep in the rock scene. But for me, coming up in the industry and the entertainment world, there was like this fucking cattiness, you know, that girls had with each other, and like this kind of unspoken, like, oh, I hope she trips on her heels type of, you know, like, I hope, like, not real support, which you're being me
candid
off.
Can I be candid as well?
Sure.
I DJ'd in strip clubs for years. You want to talk about catty girls wanting girls to trip on heels and shit? Jesus Christ. Well, anyway, I mean, that's the extreme of it, but
yeah, but like,
here's the
thing. Here's the fucking, sorry, I keep cussing. I know you're gonna have to keep bleeping me. Here's the thing, is that what women can do when they support each other. Like, I know it's cliche to say, but being thrusted into this active rock scene and into the rock scene, and being met with all of these women with open arms, and like promoting each other, posting about each other, commenting on, like, all of just this like flood of support. I've never felt more welcomed.
That's awesome.
And it's like, I'm just like, oh my God, if all women everywhere did this with each other, we would run the world. It's so awesome. Yeah, I'm so moved.
I don't know, the way it's going, women might run the world soon anyway, which probably welcome change, to be honest. Anyway, well, listen, the tour.
You're not wrong, Cutter.
The tour kicks off, of course, this fall, runs through the winter. I think there are still a few more dates yet to be announced at the time that we were talking. The live band aspect, obviously it was you and a producer, and I'm sure you've worked with other songwriters, but the live band aspect, do you have that together? I mean, what's the dynamic there?
I have a band. I've had a band for a few years that I put together, kind of near the beginning of my Sumerian relationship. They are unbelievable musicians. You know, they all live here in LA, young, hungry, you know, really just wanting to get, you know, grow their sea legs on the road. And just, I mean, when I say they're such lovely people and incredible musicians. My drummer is a badass blonde freaking goddess. Like, when she plays, her hair, like, it's like her hair is playing the drums. It's amazing. She's incredible. Evan, my guitar player, is absolutely incredible. He actually played some of the leads and shit on Creative from Filth and Dust. And Justice, my bass player, and you know, he's kind of like the in-ear guru, like helps with all the tracks and sure. You know, all of that stuff. And of course I play guitar. And yeah, I mean, I have just an incredible band that is so fucking, sorry, I keep cussing. I know I'm not supposed to cuss on syndicated radio. I'm so sorry.
We're recording this, obviously. The podcast portion of this, I want you to be as open as possible. Talk how you talk. You swear, you swear. Right. I don't fucking care.
I'm sorry. Touché. Yeah, so they're just very, very excited, and they remind me every day. I can't wait to go out on the road. So it's gonna be a lot of fun, and awesome. We haven't played since before, obviously,
Right.
the pandemic. So,
are you gonna do any warm-up gigs, any kind of that stuff?
Yeah. I'm not supposed to announce it yet, so I won't say the specific dates, but we're gonna have some warm-up dates before we're out with Halestorm and Evanescence. So keep a lookout.
Excellent. The album's good. Listen, if all you've heard so far is Anarchy, because it just started getting played on radio here in the last few weeks, do yourself a favor and go check out more Lilith Czar. Because if you're, and I'm not saying this to kiss your ass, I'm not, but if you're anything like me, you're going to be very pleasantly surprised. Because I thought the whole package was it was interesting. It was cool to watch. Obviously, some of the music videos, but the music itself, it's just one of those sounds that just kind of pulls you in and keeps you there for a little bit. So,
oh man, that makes me feel so good. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And Lilith, thank you so much for this.
So awesome to meet you. It was so good to chat with you today. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And hopefully, and I told Amy this too, I'll make a couple of the dates. That's my goal of that.
That'd be awesome.
So,
hell yeah.
Everybody on that tour is just, I love everyone so much. So it's going to be really cool. And just to have touring back, let's be honest.
Oh my God.
Special feeling.
It's so wonderful to know that like life is getting back to normal and we can go to shows again and, you know, live our lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. I'll let you go, but take care and thank you so much.
Awesome, Cutter. Thank you so much.
Cutter's Rockcast.
Don't forget to tune in. Exactly.